Girls, we are in trouble. And by we, I mean me. No, but I done started some mess on the internet. Now, I did not mean to start any mess at all, trust me. I thought I was just getting on Instagram, posting my video, and going about my day. But baby, the internet said absolutely not. Y'all said this girl's not about to get away with this video. People have been arguing for the last 24 hours nonstop. Some of y'all agree with me. Some of y'all think I'm completely out of my mind. Some of y'all think I'm greedy. Some of y'all think I hate black hair. And some of y'all think black hairstylists are ruining the beauty industry. Did we watch the same video? Because I didn't feel that way. Because after reading all of these comments, I realized a few things. We're not just having one conversation here. We're having 10 different conversations at the same time. Some people are talking about pricing. Some are talking about customer service. Some are talking about the professionalism. Some are talking about race. Some are talking about the luxury business. Some people are talking about their bad experiences that they've had with hairstylists. Some people got stuck on that one word that I used to describe black hair. Oops. So I said, instead of going back and forth in the comments all day, let's just sit down, sip our tea, and have a conversation, girl to girl. We don't have to yell. We don't have to argue. No one's trying to convince anybody of anything. Let's just be chill and talk. And before we even get into this video, please just hear me all the way out. Don't just hear one sentence, run to TikTok, run to Instagram, and completely ignore everything else that I said. Hear the whole conversation first. Then if you still disagree with me after that, then that's okay. We don't all have to think the same, but at least disagree with what I actually told you and not what social media told you I said. Some of y'all made some really good points. Some of y'all made me laugh. And some of y'all had me looking at my phone like, girl, where'd you get that from? Because I didn't say that. And there were also some comments where I said, you know what, girl, you are right. So this is not me getting on here trying to prove that I'm right and everyone else is wrong. No, this is not that. This is me saying, let's just slow down a bit and let's separate these conversations and let's actually talk about what's really going on here. It's about a conversation that black hairstylists have been having for years. And we are all tired of it. We are drained from this conversation. But if we're gonna have it, let's have it honestly. So let's start from the beginning. I posted a reel that said, let's remove all black hairstylists from the beauty industry. And yes, at the time I meant it because I'm tired of y'all coming into my comments talking about not only me, but black hairstylists in general and how we operate, how we choose to price ourselves, things like that. I'm tired of it. And now obviously that statement got people's attention, which is what I want. And the comments just started coming in. People were disagreeing and I wasn't really surprised because this is not a new conversation for us. And if you've been in the beauty industry for any amount of time, you know that this conversation comes up over and over and over again. Stylists don't feel respected. It's the same conversation every single year. So when I started reading the comments, I realized that this wasn't just about the reel that I posted anymore. Everyone was bringing their own experiences into this conversation. And so I realized we're not just arguing about one reel that I posted. We're talking about years of experiences, frustrations, expectations, and opinions that people have been carrying around. And so I thought to myself, instead of me making another reel, why don't we just sit down and talk about it and have a conversation? I'm not doing this because I think that I'm right about everything. And I'm also not doing this because I think clients are wrong about everything. But I'm doing this because I believe that we have gotten to a point where everybody's just talking and nobody's listening. And I also want to make another thing very clear to y'all. This video is not me trying to convince you to book with me. I am not trying to sell you anything, and I'm not trying to even justify my prices. I'm not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. There is room for all of us within this industry. Why do we keep having the same debate every few months? And more importantly, how do we move our industry forward? I really want it to be a conversation where clients can feel heard, where hairstylists can feel heard, hopefully one that leaves both sides with a little more understanding than they had before they clicked on this video. So with that being said, let's talk about the part that makes me the happiest. There was one thing that stood out to me, and that is just how far black hairstylists have come. Some Sometimes we are so busy working, booking our clients, running our business, posting the content, taking classes, trying to survive, that we just don't even stop and appreciate how much our industry has evolved. And I think that's something that's worth celebrating. When I look at Black hairstylists today, I don't just see women who are, well, women and men, sorry. If I keep saying women, I'm so sorry. But I don't just see women and men who are just doing hair. I see entrepreneurs, I see educators, I see innovators, I see artists, I see CEOs. I see women who are building businesses that are changing the trajectory of their family, paying off their debt, sending their kids to these private schools, traveling the world, hiring employees, opening salons, creating jobs, launching product lines, teaching classes, creating opportunities that for a long time didn't even feel possible for us. And that makes me so proud. Hair has always been bigger than just hair, especially in the Black community. Our hair tells stories. It's culture, it's history, it's identity, it's self-expression. And for generations, Black women have had to figure out our own hair because the beauty industry was not built with us in mind. We learned from our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties. We practiced on our cousins, on our sisters, on our brothers, on our friends, on our dolls. We figured things out together. And over time, that knowledge became our career paths. And that is so powerful. And I think sometimes we forget just how much innovation has come from Black hairstylists. And not even just Black hairstylists, but Black people in general. Look at how many techniques have been created, improved, or popularized within our community. The creativity, the precision, the attention to detail. Y'all, Black hairstylists are some of the most talented artists that I've ever seen in my entire life. When I scroll on Instagram and be seeing what y'all be doing, I'd be so blown away. There is so much talent within our community, and I don't think that we celebrate that part enough. And here's another thing. I love seeing Black women make their money. I don't know why that has become so controversial nowadays. I genuinely love seeing another Black woman win, because when she wins, I win. We all win. I love seeing somebody post that they had their first $10,000 month. I love seeing someone post that they just opened up their brand new salon, that they hired their first assistant, that they finally raised their prices after years and years of undercharging, because I know what that represents firsthand. People see a price increase, but I see the years of sacrifice. People see a luxury salon, but I see someone who has probably worked many weekends, missed out on family events, reinvested every dollar back into their businesses, cried behind closed doors, and still kept going. Success does not happen overnight. Many people are seeing the reward nowadays, but they're not seeing the years that it took to earn it. And as Black people, I think that's why this conversation hits so differently for a lot of us. Historically, we've had to fight for opportunities that other people had easier access to. Am I lying? We've had to prove ourselves. We've had to work harder, be overlooked, start with fewer resources. And despite all of that, look at us. Look at what we built. Look at the businesses. Look at the innovation. Look at the wealth that is being created. Look at the doors that are opening for the next generations. That all deserves to be celebrated. It's not because we're better than anybody else, but then again, we might be. Just kidding. But we all know that this journey has not been easy. It's not because I think that every hairstylist is perfect, because I know that we are not. But I refuse to let people reduce an entire industry that is filled with talented, hardworking Black women and men to a couple of bad experiences or a viral comment section. There are way too many hairstylists out here who are changing lives daily for me to even do that. Keep raising the standard. Keep believing in yourself, because what we're building here is much bigger than just hairstyles. We are building businesses. We are building generational wealth, and we're showing the next generation of little Black girls what's possible. Now let's get into a conversation that everyone seems to have an opinion on, which is the money. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, because oh my God, these comments were acting like we just wake up and spin the wheel and just pick a random price for the day. This is not how this works. Not even just a little bit. I think one of the biggest misunderstandings is that people believe hairstylists charge based on what they think they can get away with. And while I'm sure that there are people in the industry who do overcharge, that's not how most successful businesses operate. Most businesses charge based on what it costs to deliver the experience that they are providing. And that's true whether you're talking about hair, a hotel, a photographer, a personal trainer, a lawyer, or even a surgeon. Different businesses serve different markets. Different expectations come with different costs, if you know what I mean. So let's use something that everybody understands, which is cars, for instance. Nobody gets mad because Mercedes exists. Nobody walks into Mercedes and says, oh, well, Toyota charges this much, because everybody understands that they're buying different experiences. Both cars will get you from point A to point B, but they're not trying to serve the same customer, and that's okay. The beauty industry works the same way. Some women want a quick appointment. Some women want a private luxury experience. Some women want affordable. Some women want exclusive. Some women don't care about all the aesthetics. Some women want champagne, privacy, one-on-one attention, all of the good things, right? But neither woman is wrong. They're just looking for different things. And this is where I think people tend to misunderstand me the most. I did not accidentally end up in the luxury market. I intentionally built a luxury business. It wasn't by luck. It was not overnight. It was strictly a business decision for me. I realized years and years ago that I do not want to see 10 to 12 clients every single day. That is too much for me. Way too much. I didn't want to rush people in and out. I did not want to go home feeling exhausted every single night. I didn't want to sacrifice my peace just to make a living. So instead of me trying to serve everybody, I niched down. I decided to become great at serving a specific type of clientele. And for me, that meant years of education, years of practicing, years of even just working for free and perfecting my craft, studying business, learning customer service, learning branding, learning photography, learning marketing, learning social media, and learning communication as well. Because nowadays, being successful behind the chair isn't just about doing hair anymore. You're running an actual business. And the thing that I don't think people realize enough is that the appointment is only a small portion of what you're paying for. You're paying for the years of learning that took place before you even sat in that chair. You're paying for the mistakes that we've made while practicing, the classes that we've invested in, the certifications, the trial and error, the late nights, the thousands upon thousands of dollars spent on our education, the hours that we spent perfecting these techniques that save our clients time and protect their hair. You're not just paying for 6 hours for an appointment. You're paying for everything that made those 6 hours possible. And I actually know what both sides look like. I've been to hairstylists who was charging less. I've worked long days. I've packed my schedule. I've said yes to every appointment because I felt like I had to. And I've also experienced the side of where your business actually grows. When you charge more, something interesting happens. You're able to slow down, to focus more, to become more intentional. You're able to actually reinvest into your business. And I think that's the part that people don't always see. When a hairstylist makes more money, it doesn't automatically mean that he or she is pocketing every single dollar. A lot of times that money is going right back into the business. People always see the price, but they don't see the price of running a business. And don't get me wrong, y'all. There are absolutely some hairstylists who charge luxury prices and don't deliver a luxury experience. And we're going to talk about that too, because I do think that it is a valid criticism. If you're charging high-end prices, then people should receive that high-end value as well. So I completely agree with that. But I don't think that it's fair to assume that every hairstylist who is charging higher prices is greedy, because we're not. Should a Black hairstylist be allowed to build a luxury business if clients are willing to pay for it? And to me, that answer is yes, and has always been yes. Just like photographers do, just like event planners do, just like chefs do, just like makeup artists do, just like every other profession has people serving different markets, hairstylists should be allowed to do the same. And here's the thing, y'all. Nobody is forcing anybody to spend money that they don't have. You should never feel pressure to buy something that is out of your budget. There is absolutely nothing wrong with saying, that's not for me. It doesn't make the business wrong. It just means I'm not their customer. Businesses don't have to be built for everybody to be successful. Let's talk about something that I actually agree with a lot of people on, because if you are charging high-end prices, there are certain expectations that come with that. And I think that's the conversation that hairstylists need to hear too. Because I actually agree with a lot of things that the clients were saying in the comments. There were comments saying, I paid a lot of money and had a bad experience. I couldn't get my stylist to communicate. She was late. She rushed my appointment. She acted like she didn't even appreciate my business. And some of those comments made me sad, because if that is really someone's experience, it's just not okay. I think somewhere along the way, people believe that luxury only means expensive, and it doesn't. Luxury is an experience. Luxury starts long before somebody even sits in your chair. It starts with how you answer your inquiries, how you communicate, how organized your booking process is, and how your client even feels before they walk through that door. So if we just think about it for a second, y'all. Imagine you saved up thousands of dollars for something that you've dreamed about. You're excited, you're nervous, and you finally book. Now imagine you don't hear back for days upon days, and you're confused about what to do before your appointment. Nobody's answering your questions. You arrive and nobody greets you. Your appointment starts an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours late, and you're sitting there wondering what's going on here. That's not luxury. I don't care how beautiful the hair turns out. It's just not luxury. Luxury is how someone feels from beginning to end. When I think about luxury, I think about peace, organization, communication, attention to detail, consistency, feeling valued, feeling like someone genuinely appreciates that you trusted them with your time and money. Because if we're being honest here, y'all, these clients do not have to spend their money with us. They choose to. And I think we should always try to remember that. I did not wake up one day and magically knew how to run a business. I had to learn. I had to make plenty of mistakes. I had to make so many improvements. I've had to become better at communicating, better at systems, better at organization, better at leadership, because nobody teaches you these things when you go to cosmetology school. They teach you how to do hair. They don't really teach you how to run a company, especially when it grows at this level. And I think that's something that our industry still has to grow in. We have some of the most talented hairstylists in the world, some of the most creative people that you'll ever meet, but talent alone isn't enough anymore. These clients expect an experience. Y'all, and to be so for real, they should, especially when they're investing in these high prices. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation. If you're calling yourself luxury, then everything should reflect that. Even how you show up to work, how you look, how you speak, how you treat people. And sometimes those little things matter just as much as the hairstyle. And this is where I think that two things can be true at the same time. Clients deserve professionalism. Hairstylists deserve grace. If I'm constantly late, that's a problem. If I never communicate, that's another problem. If I'm disrespectful, that's a huge problem. But if there's an accident on the highway one day, if my child wakes up sick, or if something unexpected happens, I would hope that there is enough grace to understand that I'm a human being before I'm a business owner, because things just happen, and not every mistake is a reflection of someone's character. Sometimes it's just life. And I think as hairstylists, we should actually welcome accountability into our lives, into our businesses, because clients aren't always trying to tear us down. Accountability is actually how industries grow. Think about every profession. Doctors have standards, lawyers have standards, hotels have standards. If we want people to see hairstyling as a true profession, then we have to be willing to hold ourselves to professional standards as well. And I don't think that accountability is necessarily an attack. I think that accountability is respect. When people expect excellence from us, that means that they believe we are capable of being excellent. at what we do. And I know we are. I've seen too many incredible Black hairstylists to believe anything different. So yes, let's continue charging what we're worth. Let's continue opening these luxury salons, because I love to see it. Let's continue creating these high-end experiences, but let's also continue to raise the standard. I don't want people just leaving our chairs saying, oh, my hair is beautiful. I want them leaving saying, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And to me, that's luxury. So now another thing that gets misunderstood so much, more than anything in this conversation, is the workload itself. So let's get into the part that had a lot of people tripping and typing paragraphs in my comments. Because I said something about Black hair and oh my God, y'all were not letting me see the light of day. The internet was ready about this one, so let's talk about it. I think sometimes people hear hairstylists talk about the amount of work and effort that it takes to do our hair, and they think we're saying Black hair is bad, or Black hair is difficult, or Black hair isn't beautiful. And that is not what we're saying. Those are two completely different conversations. I absolutely love Black hair. I built my entire career around Black women. I think our hair is some of the most versatile, beautiful, creative hair in the world. One week we can wear an afro. The next week we in some braids. And then we got our silk press. Then after that, we got our curly hair going. Then we got our bobs. Then after that, we wearing our bust down 30 inches. We literally have endless possibilities. And that's one of the things that I love the most about our community. Different hair textures require different techniques. That is true across the entire beauty industry. If you specialize in blonde hair transformations, that requires a certain skill set. If you specialize in curly cuts, that also requires a special skill set. If you specialize in extensions, that's a different skill set. And if you specialize in textured hair, that also requires its own education, techniques, and experiences. That is not an insult, that is the reality. Because every client is different. And that's something that I think people don't always see. No two installs are ever the same. Even if two clients are sitting in my chair asking for the same hairstyle, I'm more than likely doing something different on each person because they don't have the same head. They don't have the same density, the same texture, the same lifestyle, the same goals. Luxury and hairstyling in general is not copy and paste. It's customization. And while we're talking about texture, let's clear something else up. I know one thing that rubbed people the wrong way was me talking about taming Black hair. And I understand why, because language absolutely does matter. But I promise y'all, I meant absolutely no harm when I said that. What I mean is prepping for these hairstyles, the stretching of it, smoothing it, making sure that everything is going to blend seamlessly. I wasn't saying that our hair needs to be fixed per se, because I don't believe that. Our natural hair isn't something that needs fixing. It's beautiful exactly the way that it is. But every hairstyle has a preparation process. If you're getting a silk press, there's preparation. If you're getting braids, there's preparation. If you're getting extensions, there's preparation in that. If you're getting a sew-in, there's preparation. And girls, let me be real for a second, because our hair is pure magical. It shrinks, it stretches, curls, it coils, it presses, it reverts. It literally does everything. And that's amazing. But because it can do so much, you also have to understand how to work with it. And that's where education comes in. That's where experience comes in. And that's where specialization comes in. Everybody does not have what it takes, the education, the knowledge to be able to do our Black hair. It is what it is. Like, I don't know what else to say. And I also want to say this because I think that it's important. Every hairstylist doesn't have to specialize in everything. There are people who are incredible colorists, incredible braiders, incredible locticians, incredible natural hair specialists, incredible extension artists. Just because somebody doesn't do everything doesn't make them less talented. It just means that they chose to master one thing. And that is what luxury actually looks like. It's specialization. So when people ask, why does this hairstyle cost more than the other? The answer isn't always just about time, but it's about the level of precision, the education, the years that it took to master that technique, the customization. And a lot of times you're paying somebody who has spent years becoming the best at what they do. And that's true in every profession, not just hairstyling. I think this is what I want people to really take away. When hairstylists explain the amount of work that goes into textured hair, we are not asking for a pity party. We're asking for your understanding. There's a difference. I'm not saying that black hair is less than. We're just saying that black hair deserves professionals who understand it. So hopefully that clears up what I meant a little bit, because the last thing that I would want for y'all to think is that I don't love black hair, because I do love black hair. I love my black hair and everyone else's too. And can I tell y'all what the real problem is too? Because after reading all these comments, I noticed that the hair really isn't the problem. The internet is. There's this thing about social media, and it's like the internet doesn't reward nuance anymore. It rewards extremes if you think about it. You're either rich or you're broke, either humble or you're arrogant. You're either a victim or you're the villain. You're either defending the hairstylist or defending the clients. You're either for us or against us. Can we just exist in the middle for 5 minutes, please? Because somehow some people heard that every hairstylist is perfect, and I never said that. Other people heard every client is wrong, and I never said that either. There's another group of y'all who heard, oh, she's calling black hair ugly. Girl, where'd you get that from? And I'm over here thinking like, did I upload a different video than the one that I thought I posted? Because I didn't hear any of that. It's just too much. But after I laughed, I did get a little bit sad, because I'm realizing that this is how we communicate now. We don't always listen to understand each other. We're listening to respond. And a lot of times we decide how we feel before we've even finished hearing somebody out. And yes, I've done it too. We all have done it. So I'm not sitting here thinking that I'm just above all, because I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm noticing it a lot more. And I think that that is one of the biggest challenges with social media, because my reel was what, 2-3 minutes, and this conversation that we're having right now, it's taking us quite some time. Do y'all see the difference? It's impossible to fit this much context, this much nuance, this many perspectives into one little reel. It's impossible. And so here's what happens. Somebody watches 15 seconds, fills in the blanks with their own experiences, posts their opinion, then somebody else responds to that opinion. And instead of responding to what was actually said, then somebody reacts to their reaction. And before you know it, we're 6 conversations away from the original point. And now everybody's just mad. You ever played the game of telephone when you were little, and one person whispers something, and then the next person whispers it, and the next person, and by the time it got to the last person, the message is completely different. That's social media every single time. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because the internet is going to internet. People are going to have their opinions. That's just life. I made this video because I wanted to give this conversation the space that it deserves, because I don't think everything should be reduced to a caption. I actually miss conversations, real conversations, kind where somebody says something and you don't completely agree, but instead of getting immediately defensive, you ask, well, tell me why you think that. What if we did that more often? What if we got curious instead of getting offended all the time? I truly wonder how many arguments would never happen if we just did that. And I don't need everybody to agree with me. Some of y'all probably watching this right now. Girl, I still don't agree. And that's okay. We can disagree without disrespecting each other. We can see things differently without making each other the enemy. I actually think that it's very healthy. That's why I'm actually grateful that this reel got the response that it got, because it started a conversation. And with conversations, when people are actually willing to listen, it can change perspectives. So the goal isn't always to prove who is right or who is wrong, but maybe the goal is to just understand each other a little bit more. Because if we can do that, then this conversation wasn't a waste, but it's growth. And I think that's something that all of us could use a little bit more of. I think that there's one thing missing from this entire conversation, and it's grace, okay? And I don't mean grace for us hairstylists, I mean grace for everybody. Because here's what social media has turned us into. We see one mistake, one bad experience, one screenshot, one late appointment, one little misunderstanding, and immediately, oh, she's a terrible stylist. Oh, she's a scammer. Don't ever book with her. She doesn't deserve any clients. And I'm just sitting here thinking, when did we stop allowing each other to just be humans? Because girl, have you ever overslept before? Have you ever gotten stuck in traffic? Have your kids ever woken up sick? Have you ever forgot something, made a mistake at work, missed a text message? We've all done something at some point that we wish we could have taken back. I know I have. And I'm sure after this video goes up, I might say something wrong accidentally again. It happens because I am human. I'm not talking about people who are consistently unprofessional, because there's a difference. If someone is disrespectful every single day, that's a pattern. If someone's always canceling, not communicating, that's a pattern. And those kinds of patterns deserve accountability. And I'll be completely honest with y'all, running a business is freaking hard. It really is, especially when you're the person who is wearing every single hat. And a lot of people in the beauty industry are wearing every single hat in their business because we're small business owners. You're the stylist, the receptionist, the manager, photographer, the accountant, the customer service department, the inventory manager, the marketing team. It's a lot. And then after that, you have to go home, be a mom, be a wife, be a girlfriend, be a husband. Then you're still somebody's daughter, you're still somebody's friend, and you're still trying to take care of yourself. It's just a lot. And I don't say this because I want sympathy, because I chose this life. I knew what I signed up for and I love what I do. But I think sometimes people just forget business owners are people first. We don't stop being human just because we have a business. And at the same time, clients deserve grace too. I've seen hairstylists drag their clients online, completely embarrass them, talk about them, make them feel stupid for asking questions. And I don't like that either. That's crazy. Because if somebody doesn't understand them, why don't you just teach them? If somebody's nervous about their appointment, why don't you just reassure them? If somebody has never invested in luxury services before, how about you just educate them? Everybody doesn't know what we do, and that's okay. And I'll be honest, some of y'all comments have me cracking up. Y'all are seriously funny. Some of y'all should really be comedians instead of sitting in my comment section. But then there were also other comments that had me like, well, dang, this person probably really had a bad experience before. And if that's true, I truly understand why they're frustrated. I think social media made us forget that there's an actual real person on the other side of the screen. It's so easy to leave a comment, to repost somebody, to make assumptions. But imagine spending years building something that you're proud of, and one viral moment suddenly becomes the only thing that you're known for. That's hard. Not impossible, not the end of the world, but it's hard. And I think sometimes we forget that. I am a huge believer in accountability. If I'm wrong, please tell me. If I can improve, please tell me. If something needs to change, tell me. That's how we grow as people. But there's a difference between accountability and cruelty. One helps the other become better, the other tears people down. And I don't think that we need any more of that. Something that I say to myself all the time is, if somebody made a mistake, do I want them to become better or do I want them to be punished? Because those are two completely different things. If my goal is for the beauty industry to become better, then I should probably leave room for people to actually grow. And I think maybe this is why I look at my life the way that I do, because God has given me grace so many times, day after day. I just keep messing up. Get it right. More times than I can even count, I've made mistakes. I've said the wrong things. I've had to apologize. I've had to grow. I've had seasons where I am not the woman who I am today. Imagine if people had decided that those moments would define me for forever. I wouldn't be sitting here. So because I received grace, I try my best to extend grace too. Because accountability and grace can coexist with each other. Those two things are not enemies. So to all of my hairstylists who are watching this video, let us keep raising the standard in our industry. Let's communicate better. Let's try our best to be on time. Let's continue educating ourselves. Let's continue improving our systems and processes. Let's build businesses that people are so excited to support us in, because excellence should always be our goal. And to my clients out there, find stylists who aligns with your values. Find someone whose communication style works best for you. Find somebody who fits into your budget. Find somebody who you can trust. Because at the end of the day, I don't think this conversation is really about money, and I don't think it's really about salon policy, and I don't even think it's about hair. I really think it's about how we choose to treat each other, and that's something that every single one of us can improve. Now, before I end this video, there's one last thing that I want to leave you with. So if you've made it this far, first of all, thank you for listening to me talk. Because I know that this conversation was a bit longer than what social media usually gives us. Nowadays, everybody wants everything in 30 seconds. But some conversations deserve more than 30 seconds. And I hope that one thing has become clear throughout this entire video, that this was never really about hair. Hair just happened to be the conversation that has brought us all here. So when I think about what we really talked about today, pricing, luxury, professionalism, Black hairstylists, client experiences, grace. Do you know what these conversations all have in common? It's value. How we value people's times, how we value their skill sets, how we value ourselves, how we value services, how we value excellence, and how we value other people's humanity. And if I'm being completely honest with y'all, this conversation made me reflect on my own personal journey, because there was a time in my own life where I did not value myself enough. I was undercharging. I was overworking. I was trying to make everybody happy. And I thought success meant saying yes to everything, to working longer, to doing more, giving more. Until I realized that you can pour from your cup for only so long before it's empty. And that lesson not only changed my business, but it changed my life. Learning my value had nothing to do with becoming expensive. It had everything to do with becoming intentional. And whether you're a hairstylist or not, I think that's something that eventually we'll all have to learn. Am I building a life that actually reflects what I actually value? Because if not, you'll wake up one day successful on paper and completely exhausted in your real life. And to my clients out here, I hope one thing that you take away from this video is that there's so many incredible hairstylists out here. We are all not bad. Support the ones who make you feel seen. Support the ones who communicate well. Support the ones who educate you. Support the ones who respect your time. Those are the businesses that deserve to grow. And to my hairstylists, I hope you leave this video feeling challenged. Not offended, but challenged. Challenge yourself to become better every single year, to become a better artist, a better communicator, a better leader, a better business owner, a better listener, because your talent might get someone into your chair once, but the experience is what keeps them coming back. Never stop learning, never stop improving, never get so successful that you become unteachable. I don't care how long you've been doing hair. I don't care how booked you are. I don't care how much money you make. There's always another level, and there is always room to grow and improve. And I'm talking to myself too, because the way y'all was talking to me in that comments, I'm sitting here looking like, who is y'all feeling like? We can go at it. And that's why I restarted my YouTube channel for the millionth time. It's not because I have all the answers, because trust me, I don't. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still making mistakes, but I wanted to have a place where we could actually have real conversations at that. The kind where we leave understanding each other just a little bit more. So if I could leave you with one thought, it would be this. The goal isn't to make everybody agree with you, because as we all know, that's impossible. The goal is to become the kind of person who is willing to listen, to learn, to grow, and to still stand confidently in your values. I think that's how industries get better. I think that's how businesses get better. I think that's how relationships get better. And I think that's how people get better. So no, let's not remove all Black hairstylists from the beauty industry, but let's Let's remove the poor communication. Let's remove the disrespect. Let's remove the idea that accountability and grace can't exist in the same room. And let's replace all of that with professionalism, understanding, respect, and businesses that make all of us proud. And with that being said, thank you all so much for sitting here with me and talking with me. If you agreed with me, I thank you. If you disagreed with me, I thank you. Because either way, you were willing to hear the conversation. And I can respect that. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of conversations that we'll be having over here and more. It's not just about hair. It's not just about the business. It's not just about hair over here. We're talking about business, life, motherhood, wellness, success, faith, and becoming the best versions of ourselves, because that's what really matters. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Toodles. It's the toodles for me. I don't know why I keep saying that.